Welcome back to part two. We've got the pleasure and the privilege of being joined by Barry Bannan, the Sheffield Wednesday captain, in this edition of my chat show on Sheffield Live TV, which also goes on YouTube this evening. So if you missed any of the first part, it will be there on YouTube later, as will indeed this second part. Barry, I don't do very well with backgrounds. Me and Zoom don't get on in that respect. Got loads of books in my office, but the Wi-Fi doesn't work particularly well in there. You've got a trophy or two behind you, by the look of it.
Yeah, I've been quite lucky, as you know, on Sky. They always give me man of the match because I paid them. So got a few man of the matches behind me, and I think the other one's the team of the year when we got beaten in the playoff final in the championship. So yeah, they're all scattered around the house. My mum and dad have got some as well. I normally give them to my mum and dad, but since I've had my little girl, she loves the trophies as well. So I've had to keep a few here because my mum and dad used to have them all.
Right, and you mentioned at the start of part one that you've got a son on the way. I mean, so, to join Elsie and to help the male population of your household increase numbers. Some people don't like to know the sex of the child that they're expecting, but you were quite anxious to have a son, were you?
We weren't going to actually find out. That was the plan at the start, but as the weeks ticked by, the wife couldn't keep it a secret anymore. She was dying to know, and we have a lot of clothes as well, obviously left from Elsie that we were either going to give to charities or keep for if it was a girl we were having. So we just thought it'd be easier to find out to get the room ready, and if we could give them clothes away to charity, or we have to keep them for the new baby. But we decided to find out, and yeah, I got the news that I was wanting to hear, to be honest.
Great stuff. Maybe some more footballers from the Bannan household in future. I include Elsie in that very much.
Yeah, well, we've got her into football and gymnastics at the minute. So she loves football as well. So she might be the first one, hopefully. Um, I'll try my hardest to push her that way, but obviously it'll be up to her at the end of the day. And yeah, a little boy, hopefully as well. He'll love football, and if he's anything like me, he'll love every sport. I love golf, snooker, darts. I love every sport. That's always on in the house, so he'll be getting annoyed with sport every day in the house. So that should push him over the edge. It might actually push him away if it's a bit too much for him, because me and my wife, we live in different rooms really. I come back from training, say hello, and go into the other room and turn whatever sports on the TV on, and I watch, and she sits in the living room and watches all our programs. So we live two different lives, to be honest.
Similar here. Saturday night, I'm one of the very few people can't stand Strictly. I have to find something else to do or go out to the pub. But anyway, enough of that. I was going to ask you, I mean, I know you're a telly addict and you watch everything, including boxing, which is big in the Bannon household as well. Tell me about captaincy, because I think you're in your third season now as Sheffield Wednesday captain, and how you see the role not only on the field but off the field as well.
Yeah, it is completely different. You need to be seen to be doing things right, because how can you preach things to the rest of the changing room when you're letting yourself down? So little things like lateness, stuff in the gym beforehand. I've never really been a big gym goer to do. I've never really done the gym my whole career. But even now, I've started to go in there a bit more just because I'm the captain and the other players will be watching. But my way of trying to be a captain is by trying to lead on the pitch with performances. And I'm quite vocal as well. So my passion to win at any sport or whatever I'm doing is there for all to see. I want to win at anything I do. So that kind of comes across on the football pitch as well. So you get captains who lead by doing the right things, as in being in the gym and being the perfect professional. I wouldn't say I'm the perfect professional because I don't really go to the gym, but I try to lead by being vocal. I'll say things that need to be said. I'm quite loud on the pitch, probably too loud for some of my teammates, always shouting at people. But that's just because I want to win games. I'm not shouting at people because I don't like them. It's because I want to win football games. And if people ain't doing things right, it's hard for me to let that slip, kind of thing. Like if somebody shouts at me on the pitch and I've done something wrong, it, I take it. Do you know what I mean? It's the way. Like if I'm not up to the standards, I'd expect to be getting shouted at as well because you need to be at it on the pitch to win games. And if you ain't doing that, somebody should be there to tell you that. So that's where I'm quite vocal as a captain, and I try to lead by
Were you
example.
always, were you vocal before you were captain as well? Is that just in your nature?
Yeah, because my nature's been I want to win games and I want to win no matter what. So if someone in the team's doing things wrong, um, I've never been one to let it go. I'm always arguing with people on the pitch as well, teammates, because maybe I'm too loud and too aggressive, but they know me now. All my teammates know me now. They know what kind of character I am, and that's just because I simply want to win football matches.
It's something that supporters have picked up on, and some like it. Um, the vocal nature of you, which is not just to be heard. We can't hear you, but we can see you remonstrating. We can see your body language. And some supporters haven't liked it. They've not taken to it. I suppose if the team loses, they've kind of looked at you and said you should be encouraging, not sort of rollicking somebody. What's been your reaction to those sort of comments?
They're probably right, some of them, but it's just my personality. I'm on the football pitch. I'm angry, and it's because I want to win games. I wish sometimes I was probably a little bit less angry on the pitch, but it's the way I am. But my teammates know that as soon as we come off that pitch, we're best friends again. Do you know what I mean? It's nothing personal. It's simply because I want to win. I've had it not so much at Sheffield Wednesday, but other places I've been. There's been people who are the exact same characters as me and will dig me out. At Sheffield Wednesday, Glenn Loovens, he was aggressive on the pitch as well. He would tell you if you weren't doing things right. Um, Fletch, people like that, they would get onto me as well. Do you know what I mean? If I wasn't doing things that I should have been doing, and that's the way it is. It's the way it should be. I think it's we're all on there at the end of the day to get the same outcome. And like I said, it's not personal. My teammates know me well enough now, and the new ones that have come in, they know it's not personal. It's just I want to win games, and if people are making mistakes, I'm not the type of person to hold back. Tight at times as well. I'm kind of getting better at times when I know it's about judging who can take a rollicking and who needs encouragement. So I'm getting better at that side as well of who actually needs an arm around them and like come on and a bit of praise and stuff like that. But yeah, I can see some fans wouldn't like it, but that's the way I am. That's my personality, and it's never going to change. I'm 32. Like I said, it's not personal, and I'm getting better at knowing people's characters and what they actually need for to bring out the best of them.
When you look around your dressing room, though, they should be able to take it, and some of them should be able to dish it out as well, because you've got a lot of very, very experienced players who played at a higher level, haven't you?
Yeah, it helps. It helps when you've got experience because you know when you've got experience, they've had it all before as well. Do you know what I mean? Whereas the younger ones, it's a different generation now, so they probably not used to it. So that's the younger ones are the ones that you've got to be careful with because football's changed. It changes every year, really. Football. So this generation now are probably used to more encouragement. Whereas when I grew up, it was more like the old school, aggressive, come on, let's go, get your finger out kind of thing. So you've just got to judge the person really and what you think they'll need at that time. So I've got better at it, but yeah, I can hold my hands up definitely. Yeah, there'll probably be times where I'm shouting when I probably shouldn't be shouting, but that's the Scottish side of me coming out and the winning side that I want to win.
Yeah, the Scottish side, still the Celtic supporter, still very passionate about Celtic. You grew up in Glasgow. We're going to come to your career in a moment, but management ultimately at the end of your playing career and coaching or management or both is some players you look at and you think, no, he's not going to go in that direction. I look at you and I think, yeah, he is. Am I right or wrong?
You're right. I would have done my B license in the summer just gone, but I obviously had wedding and stuff to do, so had to put it on hold. But it's something that I'll probably do at the end of this season. I'll go and get my B license done so that I've got it there ready for whenever it's time to call it a day. But yeah, my love for football's it's 90% of my life, football. And the other 10% family. So yeah, it'll be something that I've spoke to my wife about it as well. She's well aware that when I'm finished football playing, that it's not the end for me. I'll be involved in football. Hopefully, I'm lucky enough to manage. If not, I'll be involved at some age group, whether it's younger or. But my goal is to manage a first team in the Premier League if I can. I'm going to set my goals high as well there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to going into that side. Yet.
Well, not only have you got a tenacious nature, you've clearly got great vision about the game. I'm not just trying to flatter you, but on the field, the intelligence that you show and how much you see it ahead of time. I'm just wondering whether the Premier League is the best place for you rather than going League Two or even non-league, because you think in Premier League terms, I think, in terms of patterns of play and stuff like that. You're not put off, though, by the number of casualties there are, particularly at the moment. Sackings every day, virtually.
Yeah, that's the. I have been thinking about that recently, about especially with when you've got a family as well. It's you're moving places, and like you said, at the minute you could be there for a couple of months. You've got kids to go to school. You could be sacked after a few months. So that would be something that would probably getting talked about closer to the time when it comes. But it's part of football as well. As a player, you could be moving every season. Really, I've been lucky that I've been here for 7 years, but people ain't that lucky where they move every year and they've got families they have to uproot and go different places and have to start a new life again. But that's part and parcel of the football industry. So I know that's how it goes as a player, and I know how that will be as a manager as well. But it's something I've spoke to my wife about, and she's right behind me. She knows the qualities and how much I love football, so she's behind me on that as well. So I've got the backing of my family, so it will be something that I'll look to go into down the line.
What about your current gaffer? Any manager at Sheffield Wednesday, particularly a manager at Sheffield Wednesday in League One, is going to be, to coin that phrase, under pressure because there will be a demand to get out of it. Darren Moore seems to carry that very easily. He also, I think, cops for, in my opinion, a lot of unwarranted flack. I'm talking generally now. If something goes wrong, he gets it. He gets it in the neck more than the players do. Is that something that the players in the dressing room are conscious of?
Yeah, you're probably right. He does. He gets a lot of stick. I've always been one in my career that's when being asked about managers under fire and managers that I've had that have been coming in for stick, I've always been one to say it's the players. And I'll always say it's the players. It's us as players that go out there on the pitch and produce performances. So it should lie at our doorstep first and foremost. So, like you said, the gaffer's not stupid. He knows what he was letting his sell in for when he came here. It's a massive club, massive expectations. And when you drop down a league, they expect to come straight back, which is rightly so. We probably have one of the biggest budgets in the league as well. So we should really be thereabouts and getting promoted out this league. But there's no God given right to turn up to football matches because you probably have a big wage budget and you're a big club. There's no God given right that you're going to turn up in one games. Look at Man United in the Premier League, probably one of the biggest clubs in the world. They're struggling in the Premier League. They're losing most weeks. To clubs with lower budgets, it's not just about because you spend money and you've got the so-called best players that you're going to win games. There's a lot of good teams in this league as well who have bought very well and have big budgets as well, so that everybody's fighting to get out this league. But the gaffer knew when he came here that this is a club in this league, it should be getting out of it. So whenever results go badly, it's going to fall back on him. But it should be us as players first and foremost that should get the criticism, I think, because we're the ones out in the pitch of affecting the results.
He seems to me, I mean, he's obviously a hell of a nice guy. To be one of those people, some people shrug off criticism from fans, but you know it needles them and you know it hurts them. Darren Moore, to me, genuinely doesn't seem to take it personally. Perhaps people like me may take it more personally on his behalf than he does. He does carry it easily, doesn't he? Seems to.
Yeah, he's got broad shoulders, isn't he? He's a big man, so
Yeah.
he can take it. I wouldn't say he's oblivious to it, but the way the gaffer works, he doesn't really let the outside world affect him in any shape or way. Like he's not. I don't know if he's oblivious to it, but I wouldn't be surprised if he is oblivious to it because his sole focus is on he eats, sleeps, and breathes football. I wouldn't imagine he's one of these ones that goes home and looks at articles and goes on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. I don't honestly think that the gaffer looks at things like that. So, and it's probably a good thing because if you don't know about it, then it's not going to affect you. And I think unless he's getting told by the press, which he probably does, that's the only way he'll find out because he switches off completely and his sole focus is on how we can improve and what he's going to do the next day and what we're going to do as a team the next. He doesn't really let the outside world get involved too much, and you can see that because us as players, we can see the things on Twitter and things that are getting said, but I genuinely believe the gaffer doesn't know about it, and that's probably why it comes across to you is that he seems to handle it fine, but I'm sure he would if he knew about it as well. He obviously hears things, but he's the type of character he's played. He's been there as a player. He's probably been criticised as a player his career as well. And you need to be made of a certain steel, and I think the gaffer's he's got that.
He seems to be a manager that players like playing for. You've only got to look at the recruitment he's made and the quality that's come into the club, and people who could and maybe even should be playing higher have joined Sheffield Wednesday in League One. How much of that is down, do you think, to the personality of the manager?
A lot of it, obviously, those players that signed that had other options in the summer, so they've got to obviously like what the manager's saying to them first and foremost. But I would probably say a lot of that's down to the players that were here, how big the club is. People looking from the outside obviously know that, well, we should be there or thereabouts, so it has that pull. But when you've got players turning down championship teams, the gaffers obviously plays a big part in that. Like you touched on, as a person, he's second to none. He's brilliant. He's so open. His door's always open. You can go to him with any sort of problem that you have, and he'll bring you in, speak to you, and he's just as a person, what you want from a manager. He's amazing. He's so approachable, and I think that plays a part in players signing as well because of how open and genuine and how approachable he is as a manager.
Yeah, and I think you staying, I think, was a big beacon and clarion call for players to come in. I think if you for you to stay, they're thinking, "Wow, we could get out of this league." Um, the captain manager relationship is obviously very very important. I mean, he's made you captain. I mean, that's that's something between you that's got to be strong.
Yeah, we've got a good relationship. If I need anything, I'll speak to him. If he needs anything, he'll speak to me. So I wouldn't say we're best mates, but we have a very, very good relationship. If he thinks anything's slipping or he feels that something's happening, he'll come and ask me before he approaches the group, and likewise the other way. So he's easy to work with because you can go to him with anything. Um, any problems the boys have, they'll come to me. I'll go to the gaffer. He sorts it, and if we need anything from the club, the gaffer's obviously got a good relationship with the chairman, and it gets sorted as well. So it's been brilliant. I think because of how good a person the gaffer is as well. He's got a great relationship with the chairman, whereas past managers were probably not as close to the chairman as this gaffer is. So it's the club's really, really got a tight connection, like all over the place at the minute, and that comes from it starts from the gaffer, really.
Yeah, that's a point that I think journalists on the outside that we've picked up there, that key relationship at the top is very, very strong and a lot stronger than previous relationships. And it's a reason that does keep everybody together. Finally, let's talk goals, of which you'd not scored many until last season, really, in your career. But you've got 9 and you've got a couple already this time. How conscious were you of the need to add that to your game?
It's always something from the outside that people speak about. Obviously, as a player, scoring a goal is the best feeling in the world, and you always want to do that. But I genuinely get the same feeling if I assist someone or make a good pass for a goal. So maybe that's what was holding me back a little bit, where I was looking to assist more than actually shoot. And my dad would always be he was always my biggest critic. My dad phoned me after every game or before games, score a goal. He was, because as a kid, I used to score loads all the way through boys' club, youth team, always scored goals. Then when I got first team, it just stopped for whatever reason. I don't know, whether it was position or. And I was saying to my dad, it's not as easy as just like my dad explained. He played as well. My dad was a very good player as well, but he obviously played at a lower level than me. So he's trying to tell me just to dribble through 6, 7 players and score. And I was like, I'm playing centre mid, you're a winger. Like, it's completely different. You don't really see centre mids dribbling through players because if they lose the ball, the other team's in at the heart of you. Whereas as a winger, obviously, which he was, his job was to take people on. So we've had loads of arguments, and it was about goals. And last season, moving further forward probably helped because whereas before we're playing a bit deeper, it probably picking up the ball about 30, 35 yards out, you tend to think more of finding someone else than shooting. Whereas in the 10 last season, the ball was dropping to me around 20, 25 yards, and just instinct would be, I can shoot here, and I would shoot, and it was they were going in. So I probably think moving further up the pitch helped me last year for more goals. But in saying that, both my goals this season have come from playing a bit deeper and not playing in the 10. So it's weird, but I think it's just instinct and what areas you find yourself on the pitch. Last season, I was a 10, so the gaffer was wanting me to get into the box more, and that's when I touched on earlier about him improving my game, because I would normally wait it outside the box for the ball to get kicked, cleared out with a head or a missed clearance or a pullback. But playing in the 10, he was always banging into me last season, get in the box, get in the box, get in the box. And my goal at Doncaster last year was probably my favourite goal, because I don't score goals like that. As on this season as well, I think
Wickham. Yeah.
Wickham was a tap in. I don't score goals like that ever in my career. So people always think the goal at MK Dons and the ones at the crossbar or the post, but them goals, the tap ins that I don't score, are probably my most enjoyable goals, because it's goals that look back at it afterwards and think I'm improving, because I would never have done that 2 seasons or 3 seasons or 4 seasons ago. I wouldn't make that run. So that comes from training that and the gaffer drumming it into me, and it shows that I'm improving as a player and adding different bits to my game.
That's something specifically that Darren Moore demanded of you, yeah?
He
Getting
wanted me
forward.
again. He wanted me
Yeah.
to score goals. He wanted me to get in the box, because he was speaking about my technique and how I can put the ball where I basically want it, really. And he was like, "You should be scoring more goals with how good technically you are, and you're a fit boy as well, so you should be getting in the box. There's no reason why you shouldn't." So, and he was just asking what I think when we're attacking, and I spoke to him about I would rather wait for it to get kicked out and then try and shoot from there. That's what I feel. And then he was like, "You need to try and get that out your head and get into the box." So that's something that I've tried to improve on, and I've had a few chances. My goals have come from that this season.
It's all very interesting, as indeed the whole show has been. As usual, it's flown by, sort of flown by like one of your shots from 25 yards, see it and almost miss it. But Barry, thank you so much. I mean, thank you for watching. If you've missed it, as I said earlier, that following this transmission on Sheffield Live TV, both parts will be on my YouTube channel. There's another very, very special guest, dare I say, from the other side of the city on the show with us next week. The technical glitch hopefully is resolved and we'll be back in the studio. But Barry, it's been a pleasure to visit your home, as it were, today, and to hear you chatting, your honesty, and your professionalism, and all the very, very best for the rest of the season. Let's see Sheffield Wednesday and you back in the Championship. Many thanks, Barry.
Thanks, Alan. It's been brilliant. Thank you very much.
Enjoyed it very much, mate. See you next week. Bye bye now.